everybody. I'm going to take a few minutes in this video to explain what you need to do to complete the Integrating Sources assignment. The first thing you want to know is that you need to go through the lessons in the week 5 module to help you with this, especially the lesson, the PowerPoint and video on integrating sources. It will be super helpful. All right. Second thing is this will be done in a Word document, and of course I have attached a file to the instructions. That file is named Assignment Integrating Sources, and that is the Word document that has the template for the assignment on it, and you can use that to fill in your answers. If you are unable to do that, the assignment is also copied and pasted underneath this video, so you can complete it in some other way if the Word document is not an option for you. There are 2 other files attached to the instructions. The second one is a Word document called Halloween. It is a brief little movie review essay that you'll be using to answer one of the questions on this assignment. And the third file is a little article in a Word document called More Chores, Fewer Allergies. You'll also be using that to answer some questions on a different part of the assignment. Okay? All right, so this assignment has 2 parts to it. Part 1 has a few questions underneath it. The first one, you are given, so part 1, question 1, you are given a little passage in italics, and then underneath that passage, there are 3 examples that you're going to work with. One of the examples is a summary of that passage in italics. One of the examples is a paraphrase of that passage in italics. And the third example has inadvertently plagiarized that passage in italics. Your job is to figure out which example is which. Which one is the summary, which one's the paraphrase, which one has plagiarized. Remember, a summary is when you read something and then in your own words you capture the main idea or ideas. Not really a lot of details, just the main ideas of the original. A paraphrase is going to be about the same length as the original, but everything's going to be in your own words. Completely different than the original, but still communicates the same information. And then if it has inadvertently plagiarized, that means that it may have changed a few words around to try to make it look different. Maybe there's quite a few words that have been changed, but the sentence structure is still the same. So even though the words have changed, it's almost like it still reads exactly like the original. So your job is to figure out which is which and label them accordingly. Question 2 in part 1 is asking you to read that little movie review essay called Halloween, the second Word document that's attached to the instructions. You want to read through that essay once or twice. It's a very easy read. It's a student sample essay. It's a movie review. It's not very difficult to read or understand. But you want to read through it once or twice, and then your job is it says to close out the essay so that you can't see it, but honestly, you don't really have to close it out, because in real life when you're doing research, your sources are there. You're not doing everything from memory. But the idea is to summarize, to provide a summary of that essay. And again, remember, a summary is just capturing the main ideas. We're not really worried about details in a summary. You just want to capture the main idea. So write a summary of that essay, what that author was communicating to us in that essay, and provide a citation for it. And I've given you the information you need on the Word document to do the citation. You have to figure out what the citation is, but I've given you all the information you need to figure it out. So type up a summary in the spot provided there in question 2, and don't forget to provide the citation for it. Question 3 in part 1 gives you a passage in italics. It's about the 1920s. Your job here is to read the passage and then provide a paraphrase of that passage. So remember, a paraphrase is really, you're trying to communicate all the information that was in the original, but totally in your own words. So you're going to communicate the information in a totally new way, but it's still going to be the same information that is given. So read the original a couple times and then figure out how to paraphrase all of that information so that it's totally in your own words. You are sharing the same information with me that's in the original, but in a totally different way. There are some slides in the Integrating Sources PowerPoint that give you a 4-step process for creating a paraphrase. So if this is something that you're not familiar with, not comfortable with, you aren't quite sure how to go about doing the paraphrase, go back to those slides 8 through 11, and use that process to help you with this. So read the original in italics and then type up your paraphrase with the citation. And again, I've given you the information you need to figure out how to create the citation. You're going to do the same thing in number 4, the same thing in number 5. You'll be given a passage in italics. Your job is to create and type up a paraphrase with the citation, right? So numbers 3, 4, and 5 in part 1 are all asking you to do the same thing. So giving you practice with paraphrasing, because that is what you should be using most when you incorporate your sources into your paper. Most students want to do direct quote every time, word for word, put it in quotation marks, because that's easier, right? But you want the essay to still sound like you. So if you're constantly quoting your sources, your voice gets lost. You want to really practice figuring out how to do a good paraphrase. So use the slides from the Integrating Sources PowerPoint and practice it here in numbers 3, 4, and 5 in part 1. And don't forget the citation each time. Okay? Then we get to part 2. Part 2, we're going to work with direct quotes. So make sure in part 1, when you summarize the essay for question 2 and when you do the paraphrasing for 3, 4, and 5, there should be no direct quotes, right? Question 2 is just a summary, all in your own words. 3, 4, and 5 are paraphrasing, all in your own words. Part 2 is where we're going to work with direct quotes. So, for this part, there's a paragraph in italics, and that paragraph is explaining the benefits of having young children do chores. There are 3 main ideas discussed in this paragraph. However, the 3rd main idea is actually missing. So when you read through the paragraph, you're going to see the 1st main idea for why having young kids do chores is a good thing. The 2nd main idea for why having kids do chores is a good thing. But then the 3rd main idea is missing. You're just going to see blank lines in the paragraph. The 3rd reason why it's good to have young children do chores is because it can reduce allergies. There is an article, like I said, attached to the assignment instructions, that Word document that says more chores, fewer allergies. You are going to use that article to come up with the 3rd main idea, and in that 3rd main idea, you will use a direct quote from that article. So, most of the paragraph is already there for you. You have to write the 3rd main idea based on the article, more chores, fewer allergies. And when you write up that 3rd main idea, you will use a direct quote from the article. Don't forget the citation. Okay? All right. So give it your best shot. Again, this is practice. This is to help you refine some of these skills for how to appropriately and professionally and accurately incorporate your source material into your research paper. So use it to your advantage. Don't just try to rush through this assignment. Use it as practice, okay? And please refer back to the PowerPoint to help you, especially slides 8 through 11, but the whole PowerPoint includes useful information that can help you with the whole assignment. All right, so try to have it in by Sunday night. If you have any questions or, if any of this was confusing, reach out to me and I will walk you through it. I want to make sure everyone understands what they're supposed to do in each section because, again, I really want you guys to practice these skills. Okay? All right. Good luck with it, and just try to do your best.